Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. So today, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be giving you guys a WCU survival guide. So college decision day right around the corner, and I know a lot of people are going to be committing to WCU. I just wanted to give you guys some pointers, some tips that honestly I wish I knew before I came to Westchester, so that you don't make the same mistakes that I did. So I have like a mix of both like social tips as well as like academic stuff that I'm going to be talking about. So yeah, without further ado, we're just going to get into it. The first thing that I wish I knew before coming to Westchester was to not go to every purple gym party. Listen, they are not going anywhere, okay? Especially if you're a freshman, like there's going to be multiple purple gym parties over the course of your 4 years. I'm gonna just explain what a purple gym party is. The purple gym is where we, like the black community, have most of our parties. And honestly, it's just a gym that doesn't really get used for anything besides parties and events and stuff. So first, in order to go to these purple gym parties, you have to pay. So my freshman year, I remember parties being $5 in advance, $10 at the door, right? And they had this RSVP option where you could like sign up to get this little code, and before 10:30 you get them for free. So I usually did that option, and I usually got it for free. You know, if I didn't plan on getting there like at 10:30, I would just get the $5 ticket, because I mean it's only $5. But my sophomore year, like the tickets just went up like 10, 15, 20. So yeah, you have to pay for purple gym parties. That's the first thing. Second thing, there's going to be a lot of people. Like these are not parties just for Westchester students. If you didn't know, Westchester is close to Cheney University as well as Lincoln University. So people from these universities come to our school, as well as people just like from Philadelphia. So there's going to be a lot of people at these parties. Now, is it always going to be worth it? No, it's not. And that's why I say do not go to every purple gym party. Period. Second thing I wish that I knew was to use my degree progress report. So basically your degree progress report is like this thing on my WCU, which is like has everything pertaining to your college career at Westchester. It pretty much has like your class schedule. That's where you go to schedule your classes and everything like that. So your degree progress report tells you how many classes you have and how many classes you need for your specific major. And I didn't know this existed my freshman year, well, until I guess my second semester of my freshman year, so I didn't know what it was at all. So I had a hard time scheduling my classes and figuring out which gen eds I should take and which would be best for my major and stuff like that. But little did I know, my degree progress report tells me all of that stuff. So definitely utilize your degree progress report, because honestly it'll save you time going to your advisor, who is not always going to be available. You can always go to your advisor, but it's really not necessary once you know how to use your degree progress report and stuff like that, because it tells you all of the classes that you need to take. Now, if you're having like scheduling issues, like I usually have because my major is a little crazy, that's when I usually go to my advisor. So the next tip I have, do not come to Westchester looking for an HBCU experience. Westchester is a predominantly white institution. Do not come to Westchester expecting an HBCU experience. You're not going to get it. My college expectations honestly were to have that HBCU experience, but honestly you're really not going to get it at a PWI. You're just not, and it's okay. Westchester's like black community, I feel like we're pretty strong. We do a lot on campus. We do have different events. We do have this, we do have that. I feel like we just expect too much out of Westchester sometimes, because we just have this notion that like, okay, like they're doing this at this school, they're doing this at that school, but like that's just not the environment, that's not the community. Once you get to Westchester, you understand. But, and I'm not saying Westchester is a bad school at all and that it's boring or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all, because I've enjoyed my time at Westchester thoroughly, okay? You're just gonna be a little disappointed if you have a certain notion of what Westchester should be in your mind when you come. So yeah, just don't do it. The next tip I have is to find upperclassmen students that are in your major. Now, this has helped me a lot, okay? And it's honestly saved me some stress when scheduling my classes. Classes can be very stressful, like very stressful. And sometimes your advisor is going to tell you what looks good on paper, I guess, in a sense. I don't really know how to explain it, but they're going to tell you one thing. But if you have an upperclassman that has like lived through it, that has been like, hey, taking these classes together may not be the best idea because of X, Y, and Z, you can get a better perspective of what classes you should take, what order to take them in, especially if you have like a hard major like bio, chemistry, stuff like that. Having that upperclassmen give you advice to help guide you through your degree and stuff like that is very, very helpful. The next tip I have is to make connections with your professors early on. I cannot stress how important this is. For someone like me who wants to go to medical school, or people who want to go to grad school, whatever, you have to have recommendations. And that's not even just for like going to graduate school. You have to have recommendations for different summer programs, for different jobs you want to get on campus. You pretty much need recommendations for like everything. So when you come into school, like I would just say find that one professor that you're cool with and you can build a rapport with and be like, hey, like I need a recommendation for this, I need a recommendation for that, and they'll be more than willing to help you. I've built a relationship with a few of my professors, and honestly, like, just having a relationship with your professors, period, is good. Not even just for recommendations, but just building that connection with different staff on campus, I feel like is a good thing. It's always a good thing. It's always going to work in your favor because you find out about different opportunities, different scholarships, and things like that. And now I'm not saying only build the relationship with your professors for recommendations and for that, but like those things do come along with it when you build a relationship with at least one professor. But yeah, go to their office hours, sit in the front of class and stuff like that. And I'm going to stress office hours, go to their office hours, because professors really love when you go the extra mile to ask for help and things like that, because they do take notice. So yeah, at least try to find that one or maybe two professors that you can build a relationship with, because it will help you in the long run. So next tip. Do not come to college, specifically Westchester, looking for a relationship. I'm telling you now, let me help you out. So let's talk about it. I just feel like you shouldn't come to college looking for a relationship, period, but especially now Westchester. Honestly, this can be just in general to college, period. Like, do not come to college looking for a relationship, because you really will not find it. Like, honestly, nobody is at this point in their lives, especially not as a freshman. As a freshman, your main priority should not be to find a relationship. It should be to get your degree, get involved, make some friends, and get out. Because at the end of the day, like, the guys are always going to be there. The girls are always going to be there. Like, they're always going to be there. So looking for a relationship as a freshman is just not smart, because honestly, it could distract you from what you got to do. And I'm not saying that it's not possible. It can happen, but just don't come to school looking for a relationship, because I'm going to speak to my girls. So girl to girl, these guys are not looking for a relationship. Like, and it's just the hard truth. And so you really shouldn't be looking for one either, honestly. That's just how I feel about it. Now, maybe sophomore, junior, senior year, like, things can happen. Like, anything could always happen. But freshman year, I would just stay away from the relationships. Do not come to school looking for a relationship, because I've seen things go bad. Like, just don't do it. So the next, and I think one of the most important tips that I have, is to take a gen ed that satisfies multiple requirements. So at Westchester, and I'm sure this is at other schools as well, we have certain general education requirements that we have to satisfy. Now, on your degree progress report, it's going to have, it's going to tell you like all of the gen ed requirements that you have, and it's going to give you like an example of a class that you can take in each category. What I didn't know was that one class could satisfy multiple requirements. For example, for the first semester of my sophomore year, I took Women and Gender Studies, which is actually my minor now, and I'm very excited about it. But yes, I took Intro to Women and Gender Studies, and that class satisfied a diversity requirement, a writing emphasis, and I think an interdisciplinary. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But I know it definitely did satisfy a writing emphasis and a diversity requirement, for sure. And there are multiple gen eds that satisfy multiple requirements. So what I would suggest is to go on Westchester's website and go under I think it's under admissions, and it'll have like a class list. Like you can browse the gen ed requirements and just browse through the different classes and see which ones will satisfy the different requirements, because the sooner you get your gen eds out the way, the better. And also, take your public speaking as a freshman. You don't want to be a senior taking public speaking. Like, you just don't want to have to do that. So take your public speaking requirement as soon as you can and just get it out the way. So yes, when you're scheduling your classes, please be sure to like double, triple check and see if your gen eds are satisfying multiple requirements, because honestly, like, nobody wants to have to keep taking gen eds when you can just take a couple that satisfy all the requirements and then get into your major classes. So yeah. So, okay, I know I said the last tip was important, but this is also important. Be smart about how you carry yourself on campus. So, yes, it is college, okay? We know things like drinking and stuff like that happens at school. You'll be ignorant to think that it doesn't. However, the most important thing is that if you're going to indulge in certain things, please just be smart about how you're carrying yourself on campus, and please be sure that you have friends that you know will take care of you, that you know you'll be in good hands with, okay? Please just make smart decisions, okay? Like, if you feel that you're getting to that point where you're like, oh, I'm at my limit, just stop. Because you don't want to be stumbling around campus. You don't want to be passed out in parties. You don't want to be throwing up on the floor in parties because you just ruined everybody's time. And yes, it has happened in multiple Purple Gym parties. And I'm going, y'all, please just be smart, because nobody wants to have to step around throw up. And sometimes you don't even see it because it's dark and it's 1,001 bodies in there, and you will step in the throw up. Please just don't do it, okay? And the last point that I have is that college is what you make it. Prior to coming to college, I'll always hear like, college is this, college is that. Like, people always say college is boring and different things like that. Like, people always had their different opinions of what college is like. So whatever opinion that somebody has about college does not mean that it's going to apply to you, because everybody's experience is different, and like I said earlier, college is what you make it. So getting involved, especially, like, I would just say that's so important, because that opens the doors to a lot of things. Definitely go to events. Like, there's like always something to do on Westchester's campus. So like, if it's not like one of the multicultural orgs doing something, like, there's always things to do. Like, just walking into Psych Student Union, there's always stuff to do. Just go to events, put yourself out there, network. Especially network. Oh, also, I can't believe I haven't mentioned this. To all my like Black, Latino, multicultural students, like, please go to the Lawrence Dowdy Multicultural Center. It's on the first floor in Sykes, next to the bookstore, okay? Please go to the Multicultural Center. That's literally how, like, I met my friends. That's how I network. That's how I meet new people. That's how I get invited to kickbacks. But no, not even just that, but just being in the Multicultural Center, for me at least, has always been like a safe space. It's always been like a comfortable place where we can just go talk about whatever, and we do have meaningful conversations in there. So yes, please go to the Multicultural Center. Like, I can't stress this enough. To my future Golden Brands, if you have any further questions, please feel free to DM me on Instagram or Twitter, which are both below. Yeah, that's pretty much why I'm here. That's why I'm on my YouTube channel. So feel free to contact me. Ask me anything like pertaining to Westchester. I'll answer it. And yeah, once again, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.